Well, hello. hello, YouTubes. We meet again after another weekend of MPL. And you guys know what time it is? It is time for the MPL Philippines weekly recap with Naisou. All right, I can't believe another weekend is over, guys. I mean, honestly, it's kind of crazy how fast the weeks go by. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but at least for me, I'm quite surprised. And it was a hell of a week. If you guys didn't miss any of the games, you guys know kind of some of the stuff that happened. Now, again, these recaps are for the people maybe around the world or maybe here in the Philippines too that don't get to keep up with everything every single day, every single game. And that's what I'm here to do in hopefully 15 to 20 minutes, right? Now, again, week 5, it's over. That means we only have 3 weeks left of the regular season. That is kind of crazy when you think about it. 3 weeks left of the regular season. Now, reminder too, guys, that after this coming weekend, after week 6, there is a break. Okay, I know MPL ID has a pretty long break right now. I think they're having like a 3-week break, of course, for the holiday, and then SPS, and I'm not sure what else they have a break for, but I know they have a long break. We also here for MPL Philippines will have a long break after this weekend. That long break is for SPS Masters and Holy Week here in the Philippines. So we'll have 2 weeks off, essentially. So just a reminder for the people that might be looking for it after this weekend, right? So after we get through week 6. Another quick little update for those that didn't know, 2 teams have locked in the playoff spot. So the playoff race has already started as early as last weekend, week 5, which is kind of crazy because I didn't really think until week 6 we would have that. But yeah, so 2 teams have already locked in the playoff spot. That is RORA. They were the first to do it, Aurora Gaming, and then TLPH. TLPH just did that as well. So 2 out of the 6 slots for playoffs are already locked in. Okay, so that's a little quick update. Now let's take a look at day number 1, our little recap here. Let's go ahead and pull this up. It's looking pretty good, isn't it? Okay, as you guys can see, week 6 right here, we're going to be kicking it off first and foremost with day number 1. It was, oh sorry, not week 6. That's this week. Well, just yesterday, last week. Day number 1, week 5. That's what we're going to focus on right here. A lot of the storylines there were just, it's the second half of the regular season. Teams are really going to have to lock in, especially the bottom of the standings. Those teams needed to lock in. Now, to start off here, RORA versus Twisted Minds. This was a sweep. It was a 2-0. This is, again, you know, RORA locks in their playoff spot. The main thing about this one, and the super interesting thing here, guys, is number 1, this series showed the versatility of RENEJAY right now, and why I think RENEJAY is also, I'm still going to say this, I think he's the best roamer right now, currently in the league. Yes, you have your Bruscos, you have your Ogwins, you know, but I think right now, versatility-wise and playmaking potential-wise, RENEJAY is still my best roamer currently for this season. Talk about character development for RENEJAY, man. You know, he's a great guy. I'm just saying, like, he's a singer too. He can sing. He's got his own music videos. You think I'm joking? Look it up. But you know, he was kind of known, like, there's a reason he has so many hitmans, so many monikers, so many names. For those that don't know, he's known as the Hitman RENEJAY. He's really known for his Cho. He's really known for his kind of risk-taking roam play style, which ends up working really well, like most of the time. Sometimes it doesn't, but he's still able to come in clutch. Now, the big thing about this match was he was the first one to pull out the Kalea. Kalea was just finally available this weekend, or last weekend, and she finally got to see some play. And now some teams are struggling to make her work. Some are making her work. You guys can let me know what you think in the comments. Is Kalea OP? Because she kind of is, man. She kind of is OP. She can do a whole lot. But other than that, like, RENEJAY became the merman. I don't know what we're actually going to call him, but He's either the hitman, the fist man, the heel man. Now he's the merman. He was also the hook man. He played the Franco. Another, you know, not many people play Franco. RENEJAY does. So he brought two unique roams that we're not used to seeing from other roam players, and they made them work. Also take note, the Veil came through. Nice to see another mid lane hero come to play, because we've seen so many damn Farsas, Eves, Valentinas, Vexanas, Sicilians, and so I like the shakeup, you know. And I know we don't collectively, I think people don't like the jungle Lucas. Demon Kai played it, made it work. One of the few players that actually makes the jungle Lucas work. It worked, I would say, mainly because you have a Phoveus who's damn OP right now too for some reason. Phoveus. But also because he just had really great support with the Kalea. And a lot of coverage, basically, and that's how Lucas is going to work. Another thing to note here from Twisted Minds is they played Hanzo. They have been one of the few teams that have played Hanzo in the hands of MP, and for some reason, it's just not winning. It's getting kills, it's doing things like that. You know, it's kind of like a cheat code in a way, where even if you're down, you can somehow get a kill, you know? But not many teams are finding success with the Hanzo. Like to see it, you know, come through, but that's that. So with this matchup, again, RORA locks in the playoff spot, and you know, they move on forward. Now the second matchup here for day number 1, ONIC sweeps TNC Pro Team. This was, I mean, it was a sweep, but it was actually a pretty good matchup, if I remember right. Like, TNC did put up a pretty good fight for this one. King Kong versus Yaoi's Cho, though, like, that was, like, that's a game 2, I think it was, if I remember right. The outplays that King Kong was able to do with the Suyo shows why Suyo is kind of busted, right? Like, I'll probably put a clip here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. It was actually pretty cool. I was getting to cast that with the play-by-play, and it was pretty insane what he was able to do with the Suyo against a Cho. And Yaoi really, you know, Yaoi was really trying to get some of those setups, but unfortunately he couldn't. So also there was a was this also the Zask's debut? This was also the Zask pickup, if I remember right. Lancey also picked up the Zask, which was nice. Again, another shakeup at the mid lane. I'm all for that. But you know, with this one, ONIC extended their win streak to 4 games. Remember, they had a pretty rough early portion of the beginning of the season, right? They did beat TNC in week 1, but then they got beat here. Or no, sorry, yeah. Then they got beat in week 1. Week 2, they got beat. Week 3, they got beat by TLPH, you know, and they beat on AP Bren. So it's like they've been having a rough time. They've needed this win streak, and now people were saying like, hey, the Super Fam is back. They've got their connection. Even Kelro mentioned in one of the interviews on this day that they've really been trying to get that KK connection back, working on what made them the Super Fam, right? Day 2, we're going to move on to day 2 here. TLPH versus Falcons PH, man. Team Falcons. This is always going to be touted as a clash of titans. Basically, you can always look at these two squads and know that it's going to be a banger of a match. Like, these guys just play some of the best MLBB that you'll ever watch. TLPH and Team Falcons, the boys back from Falcons AP brand, right? And they always give us great matches. This was a reverse sweep for TLPH though. So this was a reverse sweep, and really it came down to just their macro play, how fast they like to play. Team Falcons make some mistakes here and there, but really too, it was just like they even won one of these games with Oheb split pushing, like utilizing Sanji's Louis Yi, and Sanji is known for using Louis Yi to its full extent. And TLPH reverse sweeps Team Falcons, and it was a hell of a match. Really, really fun to watch and be a part of. And I think they just continue to, you know, duke it out. Now, this was also a big win for TLPH because they are up on the top of the standings as well. And it was one of the things that they needed to go ahead and get closer to locking in their playoff spot. Now, moving on to the second match, TNC versus AP Bren. This is more so the matchup of like, all right, this is like a new kids matchup. These are the new kids. Why am I saying new kids for TNC? Because Coil made his debut and 3mar played. Now, for those that don't know, Coil, he spent a lot of time in the amateur scene. He is the jungler, so he came into TNC, played jungle, seemed pretty confident, you know, even though he was like shaking a little bit on his flex introduction when he was when we were introducing the teams, but seemed pretty confident and confident enough to even play the Fanny, right? So he played the Fanny, which you don't see often. But and for 3mar, now 3mar, some of you guys might know 3mar TZ. I think the first time I saw 3mar was either season 9 or season 10. He was on Echo before. He was part of the Echo Express back then, in a way, before we eventually find, you know, Sanford. But for 3mar, then he also went off and played, I think he played a little bit in Indonesia, and then he played in Cambodia. So it was nice to see 3mar come out and play here in this matchup against AP Brand, and still new kids, because AP Brand are still the team that's the new kids. Now, I say this every single recap, the potential is still there. They're showing potential. It's just unfortunate for AP Brand because they haven't gotten that win yet, and they end up getting swept here. Mind you, Coil and 3mar were playing, but obviously you still had some beast players with TNC, right? You had Benny Cutie there, you had Yaoi there, and Lancey, right? Yeah, Lancey. So TNC gets the win there. They needed that. They've been kind of struggling too, and it was nice to see some new players, new faces. Both teams just need the reps, really. That's what it is. But I think AP Brand is kind of getting in the danger zone when it comes to playoff contention. Now, last match of the triple header day, Saturday here. This is where we see ONIC and RORA. It's the battle of the streaks. This was such a fun match because, again, RORA has already locked in their playoff spot. ONIC has been on a 4-game win streak up to this point. They were trying to get to their 5th game win streak, and RORA's whole goal now, I guess you could say, since they locked in the playoff spot, was to keep their undefeated record. They wanted to beat the MPL Philippines record of 13-1, which was set by ONIC last season. So RORA would have wanted the perfect run of 14-0. And a lot of people were saying that they could do it, you know, because they were looking super good so far throughout the season. Well, it's crazy because ONIC comes back and beats them in a reverse sweep, you know? So it gives RORA their first loss. ONIC maintains their win streak. People are looking like, you know, damn, the super fam is back. The champs are back, you know? And it was fun to see. This was a very fun match to see. And again, a lot of the Auroras, the lights and the Auroras out there were I would say still pretty happy about the team's performance. Hopefully they can continue to win though, so they go into the playoffs strong. I'd hate to see RORA kind of like fizzle out in the second half of the regular season. I don't think that's going to happen, you know, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what the rest of the weeks look like for them, because next week, you know, they do play AP Bren. That's probably going to be an easy win for them, and then that's all they play this coming week. So this should be an easy win for them, for Aurora. Now moving on to day three, we have Team Falcons versus Omega. This is just a sweep. Honestly, the only thing that I really have to say about this, because we know that Team Falcons is a Titan still, and they're damn good. They've really kind of worked on the shot calling and everything else that they've needed to. I don't know what's happening with Omega, man. Maybe some of the Barangay fans out there can tell me. But I mean, I still say this once in a while. In the previous seasons, I was like, you know, I started out as an Omega fan, like Execration, and then to Omega and stuff like that too. It was a team that I really like to follow, also just because my middle name is Omega. Little fun fact, little lore right there. But I don't know what's happening to them, guys. Like, I don't know. Like, I've tried to kind of break it down. Like, you know, Super Yoshi looked really, really good when he came in that 1 week and he played for Chaknu. And then you see Jome kind of have some of his moments. But then for some reason, like, they just cannot find the secret sauce to success, whatever that is. So I don't know if there's going to be some changes with this going into week 6 or not. But yeah, they just got smashed here by Team Falcons. Yeah, they had a 22, almost 23-minute game, but you know, they seem to like do okay, but then as soon as they start facing some issues within the game, they kind of just like fall hard. So good attempts on some of the sets and stuff that we saw from Super Yoshi, but you know, I don't know. It could be looking grim for Omega. Omega and AP Bren right now are the two teams that I'm really thinking might not have a chance making it to the playoffs. Twisted Minds, I know, is also at the bottom of the standings, but they seem to show some promise. And moving on, I'll exactly tell you why I say they're showing some promise. Again, Twisted Minds has been the team to go ahead and really push the limits of the meta that we have right now. And considering again that we're on a patch, we have a new hero that can be played, Twisted Minds is a team that will continue to push meta. Will continue to push these picks to see if they work or not. Now, is that going to bite them in the ass, bite them in the butt a little bit? Probably. Game 3 was a good example of that. If you guys are wondering what I'm talking about, Nana. What in the Nana pick in game 3? I don't know why or what the game plan was. Because they won game 1. They won game 1 in a long game, 20-34. And then they just got smashed game 2 and game 3 by TLPH. And game 3 was so anticlimactic, because when I was watching this, I was like, hell yeah, Twisted Minds, game 1, let's go. Game 2, I was like, all right, that's just typical TLPH. They come back fighting and they do it quickly. And then game 3 came and I was like, what are we doing? So I don't know, man. I don't know about Twisted Minds. I'm all like, guys, you know me as a Gord main. I love non-meta picks. I do. But I just wish that was a better game 3, because when you watch it and you go back, if you did watch it, it was a stomp fest from TLPH. So those are the thoughts here. Again, if I could recommend you guys go watch a game from this previous week, I'd say go and watch TLPH versus Team Falcons. It's either that or ONIC versus RORA, but I really think that if you want to watch a really good game, obviously TLPH Team Falcons is always fantastic. Clash of the Titans. And that'll be the case, right? For the rest of the season, I'm sure. Now, that's my thoughts. That's the recap here from week 5. Now, our standings. Here's our current standings. These should be, these are updated. So these are the updated standings right now. As you can see, the green right here, both teams, Team Liquid PH and Aurora Gaming, are locked in for the playoffs. They're both sitting at 8-1. The only really difference is, again, the point difference that you have here. They have a +11 instead of the +10. For those, again, all that really matters is for these teams to win these matches so they get 1 point. So they'll continue to move up. Now, you might be asking, what can they still fight for? They can fight for seeding when it comes to playoffs. So that's why winning, obviously, still important for Team Liquid and Aurora for the next 3 weeks, or the next 3 weeks of the regular season. Even though there's like a 2-week break, it's fine. But yeah, so the rest of the teams, you have ONIC at 3rd. You have Team Falcons PH at 4th. They're both sitting at 6 points. Right, so this could be a big thing depending going into week 6, because if I remember right, does ONIC only have 1 game in week 6? Yeah, ONIC only has 1 game in week 6. Falcons have 2 games. So if Falcons ends up winning both their games, they'll be sitting at 8 points. They might qualify for playoffs. I don't know 100% the stipulation on that, but because Team Falcons has 2 games this coming weekend, there's a chance if they get to 8 points, and depending on what else happens, they might actually lock in a playoff spot. I don't know. That's not confirmed, but there's a potential for it, depending on what happens for the rest of the matches. Like I said, ONIC only has 1 game this coming weekend. So aside from that, we have to go ahead and look at, TNC Pro Team, AP Bren, obviously still kind of close to 4 points here. There's kind of a big gap still. It's 1 point, 1 point, 1 point for these bottom 3 teams. And so they really, especially Omega and Twisted Minds, they really have to get going on the next 3 weeks of the regular season to get up here, because they're falling behind. And as you can see too, they've got they've had a really rough time. So those are the standings. Now we're going to go ahead and quickly take a look at week 6. These are the games coming up this weekend, and do some quick fire predictions. Whew. All right, day 1. What days am I casting, by the way? I'm casting Saturday and Sunday, by the way. So if you guys want to know, I'm casting Saturday and Sunday. My parents will be visiting the Philippines again, so I'll be spending some time with them. So I don't think I'll be restreaming on Friday, but I'll be casting Saturday and Sunday. All right. Week 6, day 1, ONIC versus TLPH. I think ONIC has this. I think ONIC has been on a streak. Obviously, like I said, they're still on a 5-game win streak. I think they continue on and they go for the 6-game win streak. Maybe 2-1. 2-1 here. ONIC 2-1 versus Team Falcons. RORA versus AP Bren. Like I said, I think this is just going to be RORA. They might even test some stuff out here, honestly. I feel like that can be the case. RORA might test some things out against AP Bren. This should be a sweep, though. RORA 2-0 AP Bren. Moving on to day 2, Omega versus TNC. Like I said, I don't have much to say about Omega, man. It's a little disappointing to see how their performance has been up to this point. I don't think, unless something drastically changes, that there'll be much difference here. So TNC, I think, will win this 2-0. I'd be surprised if it's a 2-1, but I still think TNC will win. Team Falcons versus Twisted Minds. I think Team Falcons wins this. Maybe we see Twisted Minds try to twist frickin' Minds some more. Please not Nana. Something, I don't know. But Team Falcons will win this, maybe 2-1, because again, some of that cheese stuff, or whatever we want to call it, that Twisted Minds does, could win a game, and maybe that's what they were trying to do with the Nana. Or maybe Nana was just a good pick into what was being played here, you know? She does provide a lot of damage and burst, but yeah, that's that. I do think, again, Team Falcons will win this. AP Bren versus TLPH, same thing. A really rough week for AP Bren. I think TLPH comes here and just sweeps AP Bren. Like I said, AP Bren has showed potential. Maybe they take a game off some of these stronger teams, but I don't see them winning a series unless there's heavy mistakes from the likes of TLPH. And who knows? Again, because of the fact that TLPH secured their playoff spot, maybe they have a little more leeway in the draft and they want to try some things. And this would be the time for teams like TLPH and RORA to try some things, since they've already locked in the playoff spot. They can afford a weekend of experimenting if they really wanted to, honestly, right? Now, day 3, last day of week 6, TNC versus Twisted Minds. TNC, I think, is going to win this 2-1. And TLPH versus Omega, again, this is going to be sweep. I think TLPH just sweeps Omega. So that should end week 6 predictions. So let's go ahead and change this. There we go. All right, guys. So that concludes. What are we at? 20. Dude, we're always 23, 24 minutes. Maybe we can't get faster than that. I feel like I'm talking fast, man. I don't know. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. The recap here again. MPL Philippines weekly recap. Week 5. I try to get these out every Monday around this time, so you guys have a quick something to listen to right after the weekend. You know, I don't want to wait too long to get these out to you guys. So I do want to just quickly say thank you for everybody that's checked out the recap videos, the past 4 ones, and left your comments, left your suggestions, messaged me about them, and gave the videos a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. Subscribers as well, the new subscribers, thank you guys for joining. Again, we'll be doing this as often as we can. And last reminder, after this week, week 6 is over, there will be a 2-week break or so. Week 7 resumes sometime like 3rd week of April, if I remember right. So just keep a note of that, just in case you guys are looking for MPL Philippines after week 6. Okay? Because then we go in, shift focus to SPS, and then there's a little bit of break for Holy Week, and then we resume. Now, if you guys are wondering too, I will be not a part of SPS. I won't be casting SPS, but I will be going to SPS. I'll be vlogging out there, so make sure you guys do subscribe if you want to see some of the behind the scenes of SPS. That is happening in a different location than the actual tournament. Again, the reason why that is because the English broadcast, I think, as well as the Tagalog broadcast, is happening somewhere else. So I won't be at the actual event. But it'll still be a good time. It'll still be some of the behind the scenes that you guys can see us hanging out with the casters and whatnot. And who knows what we'll get to do while we're out there. But I will be vlogging that for you guys to go ahead and check out here on exclusively on the YouTube channel. So make sure you guys subscribe. Now, that's going to be it for me. Again, thank you guys so much. Please do leave a thumbs up, your comments down below, what you thought about week 5 and what you think about week 6. And maybe what your thoughts are on Omega as well, or some of the teams that are struggling here. Or some of the great things, you know, about the 2 teams already locking in their playoff spot. So we'll see you guys the next time on the next video. And until then, you guys take care. Have your coffee, have your water, stay hydrated. It's hot as hell in the Philippines. We'll see you next time.